members of the OG Army. Get those wallets unfolded. Coming up next on the OtherGround live stage, prepare for an eargasm by Passive J and Big Dalton.
Good afternoon, and welcome to yet another edition of the OtherGround Live. I'm Passive J. That's Ryan over there. Say hello, Ryan.
It is Friday, June 5th, and she got a big booty, so I call her Big Booty. How you doing, Jay?
I am doing excellent. A little out of breath. I right down to the wire to get the show off on time today. Mostly through my own fault. I don't know. I got home later than I expected, and whatever. Hey, we'll talk about it on the show. I see the OG Army is forming up in the chat box. Always happy to see you guys here. How'd your day go, Ryan?
You know, it was another day of work. And I
yeah,
mean,
well, I guess that's a super
it's kind
question.
of a culture shock maybe to someone like you.
Yeah. Yeah, I did go back to work today with my first day back. It was interesting. They did a big, well, not big, employee meeting out back, which was interesting because all the chairs were placed 6 feet apart. So even though there's probably 30 people there, it took the entire back tent and all the space. You know what? I think my gains will maybe a touch too high. Turn that shit down a little bit. All right. But yeah, it was interesting. They gave us all the details about what we're going to have to do going back to work to keep all the COVID stuff safe and all that good shit. For one of the things I thought was interesting is they're going to have a company come in and do a cleaning process using static electricity. They're going to spray some chemical down that's supposedly food safe and people safe, and they're going to through the magic of static electricity, apparently it's going to coat everything completely, undersides, tops, bottoms, whatever, in this antibacterial coating that will kill COVID and a whole bunch of other shit for like 6 months. So you won't have to someone could like touch a door handle with the COVID and you touch it afterwards and you're not going to get it because it was sprayed with this chemical, which is interesting, but kind of improbable sounding, doesn't it?
Sounds like snake oil.
I know, but I mean, my bosses are not dumb people, so they would have done their research. So apparently this is probably a real thing, and it's probably really expensive.
Yeah, I don't buy it at all.
Really? You don't think so?
No.
Well, I no, it probably, I don't know. I did zero research on it. I've been actually busy at work, which is unusual. Normally I just sit around and look pretty and answer the occasional phone call. But I haven't been able to look it up. I'll tell you what, I guess that'll be my project sometime in the next 24 hours to look up the actual process and bring it back here and tell you guys whether it's bullshit or not.
Yeah, even if you look it up, it's probably still bullshit. Long-term sterilization of a surface by like one spraying of something generally isn't a thing.
Well, I don't know. I haven't done my research. That's why I'm remaining open-minded about it. So it could be some amazing technology we're unaware of.
Probably not.
Not to get into the technical stuff, and this is going to be like a 30-second conversation, guys, so don't worry about it. I had to adjust some of my settings, and I just realized I might be sitting at a different distance than I was yesterday. Do I sound fine, guys?
You sound probably slightly close to the mic.
Okay, well, that's probably easily enough adjusted. Just how about like that?
It sounds a little better. Like you can tell when you're getting a little bit too close because you start getting that proximity effect.
Right. And which I have a tendency to do because, as I mentioned before, I ride on the mic, my last one so much. So I'll try to remember to keep my back against my chair here so that it always sounds like this. Cool. Oh, I'm sure we have all kinds of topics to talk about. Actually, no. Once again, I got home, like a half hour, 45 minutes ago. The traffic was ridiculous. I can't believe it. I was figuring it was going to be smooth sailing, because of all the COVID stuff. But apparently everybody's back to work all at once, which is true, actually. That's how it works in my state. They released a whole bunch of shit at the same time. We actually thought we had another week and a half, and then the governor updated her opening plan and told us we could all go back to work early. And since, the rich people want their shit, we went back to work. Yeah, okay, let's talk about that. My job is changing for at least a little while. I discovered today that starting next week, I'm going to be coming into work an hour earlier than I was, so that'll be fun. Uh, because I'm going to be the person that checks everyone's temperature and has them sign their waiver every fucking day. So every day, so which means I have to be there before anybody else.
Let me
I was
guess.
already there pretty
So
early.
they gave you this job because you're the only one with 6-foot arms, so you can maintain social distance while temp checking.
I had not thought about that, but you know what? That might have something to do with it. So basically, every day, all of the employees have to come in through the front door, which is a big change because there's an employee entrance. That might be the only reason because they're coming in through my office. And that's only the early shift people. Another person comes in at 9:30 and goes down to the employee entrance and starts doing that. I'm just checking in the early morning people that are here before the crack of fucking dawn, like the kitchen workers and the bake shop and that kind of shit.
Are you
So
testing
they'll
yourself? Is that the first thing? Did you turn that gun on yourself?
You know, that's probably a good idea. I had not even considered that at this point, but you're right. I should probably check myself first thing every day. So yeah, they'll be filing up to my office window, which, by the way, we've already put like a table in front of, like a thin, like 3-foot table. But I sit in front of a desk, and then there's probably about 1.5 to 2 foot of wall because there's a window there that it's inset into for people to speak to me. So putting like a small table in front of it solves my social distancing problems right there. So they'll have to come up to the small table. I'll have to lean out my long ass arm, take their temperature. They're given a like a little questionnaire. Do you have any of these symptoms? That sign on the bottom. Okay, and then they go off to work, assuming the temperature check's okay. If the temperature check's not okay, well, then things get fucking interesting. I have to immediately call their manager. And they're supposed to go. Actually, what technically they're supposed to go home and they're immediately supposed to call their manager, but I'm supposed to call their manager too. um, uh, and they're like, I already have like privacy things, like I can't tell anybody if someone else tests positive for it, or but on the other hand, they're going to inform everybody that that guy was in contact with that you that you were in contact with somebody that was COVID positive. So in certain cases, it's probably be pretty easy to figure out who it was. I guess it depends on the department, such and such. It's not, and that's like the least of the things. We've reduced a whole bunch of tables in the dining room to increase social distancing. Same with the outside. The weirdest thing that I have going on in my life right now is, in addition to my normal dining room reservations, I now take reservations for the pool. Scratch that, for 2 pools, because there's a regular pool and a kiddie pool, and you can make reservations for it. And our pools are at the moment reservation only, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there are things going on. So with this,
Yeah.
if someone comes in and tests hot, like, what do you do about yourself? Because now you've been in contact with someone.
Well, everyone is wearing masks. And according to the things, the 6-foot proximity for catching it, they said that's normally a worry about for people that are in close proximity for long periods of time. They said, because he is explaining how it's going to work. He says, I want you guys to maintain 6 feet distance whenever possible. Now keep in mind, I realize in certain cases this isn't going to be possible, and you don't have to worry about that because we've been told by the people that are allowing us, because all the restaurants were given a information pack about reopening and all that good stuff, and they've been told that as long as you're not going in close proximity for long periods, it's not an issue. So, like, if you have to cross paths with somebody, or like like the kitchens can be a crowded place, so if you need to slide past somebody, that's not a danger. Everyone's wearing masks, and and it's not close to the half-hour close proximity thing that they consider like dangerous and a high chance of passing along the virus. So I would assume I'm going to be wearing a mask. No one's allowed in the building without a mask. So the employees have to put on their mask before they come in. And I'm just going to lean out and bing. So as long as, but this is just my assumption. For all I know, as soon as I identify somebody, they're going to tell me I need to go home for 2 weeks too. I doubt that though. So they will probably keep an eye on me for symptoms though.
But that's the slippery thing, right? Is like the majority of people that get this are asymptomatic. So even with your temperature check, they're not going to test hot. And then a few days later, they may become actually symptomatic. So they have been commingling with all of you for several days while they could be giving you the disease. And then they test hot. And then you've just been a petri dish.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And they're taking every precaution they can. But after a certain point, you're just rolling the dice. Once opening up the restaurants is going to cause more people to get sick. Excuse me, I'm a little gassy today. But at some point we got to open. I mean, I don't think the country. What?
Pay attention to the chat. Sly asked you a question.
I'm sorry. Do they supply you? Yes. I'm using my own because I've got a gigantic melon and regular masks don't fit me, but they have a ridiculous amount of the disposable masks. And all the employees, if they don't have a one of their own, they can use the disposable ones. And also, there's also plenty of gloves available, although that's a placebo. We all know that gloves don't work. Which is funny because my night receptionist is big on the gloves. She's wearing gloves. But I said to her, I was like, if it'll make you more comfortable, I'll wear gloves. I go, but you realize that's not how gloves work as far as sterilization goes. Gloves work, you touch the thing, you take off the gloves, you throw them, you put them, and then, if you're wearing gloves all day, it's the same thing as not wearing gloves.
Yeah, people are stupid.
Yeah. But there's cases of sanitizer. They actually found this, it's like a Perel type sanitizer, but it's not a gel. It's just a regular liquid, so you can spray it. And there's also Perel pumps all over the fucking place. And as I mentioned, they're doing all kinds of social distancing. The pool thing's weird though, because basically you call up and you make a reservation for a block of time. And we only allow the kiddie pool is only one family. Only one family can use it at a time to get it for an hour. Then for the adult pool, you set up a reservation for like a 2-hour block, and we will let up to 30 people reserve for that 2-hour block. So there's still going to be 30 people in the pool. It's an Olympic-sized pool, so obviously that's probably plenty of room. And they say that the disease is not waterborne, so you don't have to worry about getting the COVID from swimming with someone that has it. So it's a precaution. Our family recreational center, which is our fancy name for the snack bar by the pool, is not open yet. Not for any COVID related reasons, but mostly because of all the bullshit that's been going on. He hasn't had time to take care of that yet. He's hoping to open that later in the season if he can. No special events. Everyone's weddings and bar mitzvahs and shit like that have been canceled. All of the club events like our steak barbecues, our Sunday barbecue, and the 4th of July events with the big inflatables for the kids to play on and like horse rides and all that good shit are not happening. And it might not. Unfortunately, one of the bummer things for us over here at the Passive J household is one of the things that are not happening right now are card games. They're not being allowed, which we think is kind of silly because they allow you to dine. But I guess they think with the passing the cards back and forth, there's a higher chance of passing something along. And as I mentioned to you yesterday, that's a huge part of my wife's income. So it's like, hey, congratulations, you get the card room. Oh, by the way, there's no card room. So I'm hoping they give her a fairly good raise. And that should be temporary. But my concern on that is if you take something way long enough, when you offer it back, people aren't interested anymore. So I'm hoping that the old ladies don't find someplace else to play their cards.
Jay, these are old Jewish people. Like, they're still going to go to the country club and they're still going to play cards because they're old Jewish people.
Right. There's always been concerns about like the newer generation not being as interested in play shit like playing canasta and stuff like that. But these are all ladies from 50 to like 120. So eventually they all kind of
not the canasta.
Players. Canasta, yeah. Some of them play bridge, some of them play mahjong, and some of them play canasta. Those are the 3 big games.
Wait, you don't have like a huge, like high limit poker table going on?
No, which is really strange. There is a ladies' card room and a men's card room. The ladies' card room is very active. That's going to be a huge part of my wife's job once it comes back. The men's card room, not very active at all. There are not really any card players or poker players in this group of people. So the room sits there pretty much unused most of the time. It's where we do overspill for the grill room for large events and things like that. And nobody likes eating in there. They feel like a second-class citizen. It's a nice room, but like the windows overlook like the garbage bins, and you have to walk through another room to get to that room. So obviously you're a second-class citizen. It's really funny to see. I've had people that cancel reservations when they're told they're in the card room. Like, oh, can I? No, it's because the main dining room gets closed occasionally, and then we have something called the grill room that we don't use for regular dining. But if there's a big party that's big enough to take over the entire club, we almost always have to offer some sort of service for the regular membership. We can't tell them, no, you can't have dinner here tonight because there's a big club party. So we have something called the grill room, which is a very nice room. It's got a bar in it. It's kind of rustic looking, big fireplace. It's fucking my favorite room. It's got really cool ceramic tile on the floors and shit. And behind that is the men's card room. So people will call up and make reservations. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, there's a private event here tonight. We'll have to place you either in the grill room or the card room. Oh, and they're like, okay, well, can I get the grill room? And I'll say, oh, well, unfortunately, at this point, it looks like the grill room is full. We'll have to place you in the card room. Oh, I don't want to eat there then. And they'll hang up. I'm like, well, dude, the food tastes the fucking same. That's kind of, I mean, can you imagine that? Calling up a restaurant and making a reservation and then canceling it when they tell you can't get the table you want?
I don't know, Jay. The bathrooms, are they on the left or are they on the right? Are they down a hall? Is there more than one sink? Are there stalls? Are there urinals? You're giving us the entire.
Are you saying
you're showering this layout of your place of employment, Jay?
Well, that's not too specific, and besides which, the layout's a little bit different than that. Mostly because I incorrectly described something.
I'm letting you know that you're describing your place of employment much like you were describing how you shower.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Sorry about that. I get into too much detail occasionally. Maybe I should move on to the topics that I managed to find in the fucking 15 minutes I had to peruse the internet before I got on the air.
Absolutely. What you got, Jay?
Oh, let's see. Alabama City removes Confederate statue without notice. What do you think about that, Ryan? What's your attitude and stance on the Civil War monuments throughout the South?
Like, I don't necessarily care either way. Generally, I'm not necessarily for having, statues for the losers.
Right.
And a lot of those people, but the thing is, right, like, is it really that big of a deal? It is Southern history. I get that. Like, I'm sure a lot of these people weren't, like, terrible people. Like, a lot of them were fucking good generals and shit like that. So why get rid of it? Now, the Confederate flag, I am pretty much against that one. Like, stop waving the flag of the fucking losing team and acting like it has some relevance today. Stop it.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I'm indifferent about the entire thing, much like you. I think it's kind of silly to tear them down. It's like it's history. It happened. Tearing down monuments and things from the past is kind of a bad idea when it comes right down to that, because that's how you start changing the history books, by removing the history. But I don't get too terribly upset about it because, like you said, they were for the most part, a bunch of assholes.
Well, yeah, it's like a lot of people like no longer observing Christopher Columbus Day. Like, that's probably a good call. That guy was a piece of shit.
Right. Now calling it Indigenous People Day is kind of silly too. But
well, if they still want like a government holiday, yes, let's just make it a holiday for something else.
Right. Just call it Discovery Day. And that takes care of that. We're celebrating the same thing, the discovery of America, just not the asshole who did it. So
let's just call it Taco Day. Everybody loves tacos. Let's just have a fucking holiday for tacos.
Yeah, it's that reminds me of the joke. I think I made this one. I probably stole it from somebody else, like everything else. Truly funny, I know. Remember back when the Redskins were having a controversy about their mascot, and there people were making try to change their name because the Redskins a racist term for Indian people.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, I think the solution to that would have been keep the name, but change their mascot to a potato. The Washington Redskin Potatoes. That way they don't have to change their name or any of that bullshit, but it's not racist anymore.
Except they'd have to change all of their logos.
Well, yeah, but they're going to have to change all those anyways. At least they don't have to change any of the actual name stuff that they have, because they don't have the logo on everything with the name. And that way all the people are, you can't change the Redskins' name. That's tradition. Well, sure, okay. They're the Washington Redskin Potatoes. No?
No, I'm going to let the silence ride on that one, Jay.
All righty. Let's see. Let's see what else I got today. Apparently Madagascar is filled with idiots. Um,
Madagascar.
Yeah, Madagascar, which is a fun name to say, even if it's improperly said. Uh, Apparently, Madagascar's education minister has been fired over plans to order more than $2 million worth of lollipops for school children. Uh, the reason he ordered them was the pupils would have been given 3 lollipops each to mask the bitter aftertaste of the untested herbal remedy for coronavirus that they wanted to give to all the children.
So he got shit canned for the requisition for lollipops, but not for drinking Lysol.
Bingo!
Awesome.
The president of Madagascar called it off, but only because of the money. Because he fully supports the herbal remedy, despite the World Health Organization saying it doesn't work. The president, on the other hand, dismisses criticism, saying it's evidence of the West's condescending attitude towards Africa. If it was a European country that had discovered this remedy, would there be so much doubt? I don't think so.
Well, we would have scientifically tested it in any non-third world country.
Oh, you mean like the World Health Organization did? So that's really amazing. So first, when I read the article, as I'm starting off, I'm like, oh my God, this guy was going to give these kids this crazy herbal remedy, and that's why he's fired. And the only reason they found out is because you requisitioned so much money for candy. Nope, they're perfectly fine with the herbal remedy. They just didn't want him spending that much money on candy.
God damn, stupid people are dumb.
Yeah. All right. Now, of course, we're going to have to talk about some of the political rioting, protesting thing. I can't avoid it. And I run out of other things to talk about. So I saw today that the DC mayor has painted Black Lives Matter in huge letters down a street heading straight to the White House. Have you seen anything about that?
Yeah, I saw the pictures of that.
Huh. Well, what do you think? Do you think that's cool or more grandstanding on the mayor's part?
I mean, it is a little bit of grandstanding, but if you think about it, like doing things to just appease like the people that are fucking going through some shit right now, like it doesn't hurt anyone, but it makes them feel like someone's fucking listening to them and like hearing them. So like, yeah, I don't see the problem there. Same thing with DC has called off all of the like National Guard and stuff like that. They've taken down their state of emergency. So like they're taking these visual steps for the people that are protesting these things. So maybe it won't be such a goddamn tense environment.
Well, there you go. That's a good attitude to have about it. And when it comes right down to it, the only people that could really say anything negative about this are the people that live in DC, since it's their taxes are going to pay for that shit. And that's their mayor. So if they have a problem with it, they'll take care of it next election season. And no one else really has anything that they could say about it. It's like, hey, dude, it's not nothing to do with you, dude. That's DC and DC's people. So I think it's a little grandstandish, but like you said, if it helps make people feel better about this shit, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, I'd rather, have a few $1,000s of taxes go to paint than having to go to, arming the police force with more fucking tear gas and shit. Like, if it helps keep the protests peaceful, fucking go for it.
Exactly. Looking through the news, apparently America does not have a monopoly on craziness. And I might be way off base on this one, so I'm sure you'll let me know. Apparently, Bollywood actors that have been posting against the racism in the wake of the death have been getting shit on by Twitter users in India. Because apparently these same actors have made promotions and commercials for Indian skin lightening cream, which is apparently a thing over there. They're creams that apparently actually can damage the skin that lighten their skin to make them look less dark. So when these and the most famous one is that chick that married the Jonas Brothers singer. She apparently said something about Black Lives Matter. And she got jumped on all sides because she made commercials for a skin lightening cream. And I'd like to hear what you think about it before I say my piece, actually.
Yeah. I don't even know what to think about that. Like, skin lightening cream, it's pretty fucking stupid. But, It's your body. Do whatever the fuck you want to do for it. Doesn't speak to like overall fucking issues of, you know, people of darker complexion not getting the same opportunities, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, social outrage, but goddamn, like find something important to bitch about.
Right. And I will, to give the people, because I'm about to shit on this, so you could have probably told how I, from the intro, but to give the people complaining a little bit of credence, they say Bollywood is very racist, and then if you have dark skin, you have very little chance of succeeding in Bollywood.
Well, it probably is. Like, the majority of India is a shithole. Like, does it surprise people that it's kind of, you know, I'm not going to necessarily say racist, but kind of, like, if you think that like the light skin is more appealing there, like they're kind of a backwards culture for a good percentage of that country. And then they have these small pockets of like more developed areas where people are, well, I hate to say it, but more civilized.
Right. And see, how I feel about it is it's bullshit. It's not racist to not like how you look. Okay. If that was the case, every single person that ever advertised weight loss is fucking racist against fat people.
Beefcake!
It's not exactly. It's not wrong to not like how you look. And that being so, it's not wrong to have products out there to alter that. That being the case, those products are going to require advertising. So it's not wrong to advertise something that changes how you look. We have all kinds of things here in America that change how we look. I understand that it's a sensitive subject for when you're selling something that turns you from something that you feel is being held down as a minority closer to what the supposedly the superior class is. I understand that, but I don't think that these people have the right to like fucking bust on these actors and shit just because they were in a commercial and then feel like they want to help support Black Lives Matter. I mean, come on, they're trying to be. Yes, it sounds like maybe it's a little bit hypocritical, but as you said, there's way worse things in life than some Bollywood actor trying to support the Black Lives Matter, even though maybe she's being a little bit hypocritical about it. I mean, shit, right?
Fuck it, bro. Back up the Brinks truck, and I will be the face of anal bleaching worldwide.
Yeah, it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with not liking how you look. If I liked how I looked, I wouldn't fucking work out every day.
Well, I mean, we got to get you some muscles first before you can fall back on that one.
Well, that's why I'm saying I wouldn't work out every day if I didn't if I liked how I looked. I don't like how I look. I want to be bigger and stronger. So, but does that make me prejudice against skinny people?
Yeah, fuck those twig leg motherfuckers.
Should I never be able to say, skinny
geeks.
People have it so right? Yeah, it's just silly. I don't know. And now I think we've made it through all of my my fucking topics.
All right, some real deep discussion there.
Yeah. See, it's not a political show. Neither of us really like talking about this shit, so it's really hard to have prolonged conversations about it. As I mentioned before, I will not be doing the Fight Companion tomorrow, dude. You can complain all you want. I'm not going to do it. I got to get up too early on Sunday. Now even earlier.
There you go, OG Army. Jay no longer cares about you.
No, but I do care. This is what I wanted to talk about. When we do the show tomorrow, do you want to launch it from your side so that way when I leave, you guys can keep on doing the Fight Companion? I realize that may or may not work out depending on whether or not if you can get Tenor or Grad or any of the normals to be on there for the majority of the show. If you can't get one of them to commit it, you don't just want to do the Fight Companion solo. But it is a possibility if you want to something to consider.
Nah, if you're not going to suck it up, I'm not going to fucking stay up till goddamn 1 a.m. to watch a chick fight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I just can't do it. It's get out of there. What are you doing, little dog? Hold on. Come here. Oh, okay. You be in my lap. You're being way, way, way too much of a bad dog. All right. They were so distraught when we came home. I don't, I think that's the thing I hate most about working. I'm such a softie with these dogs, and they're they get really, really upset when we're gone for long periods of time.
Come
You
on,
said
Jay.
your dogs
You don't gotta
what?
lie. The thing you hate worst about working is working.
So far, it's pretty good. Although, obviously, you'll ask me again in like 2 months after I've been run ragged for
So
ragged.
far, it's okay. You went back for a goddamn meeting and to clean.
No, I end up being there the entire day. They changed that. They decided that they were going to announce like the different reservations that are available. So I figured we'd be swamped, and I was. My phone rang off the hook for basically 3 or 4 hours after they announced it. It slowed down slightly before I left, and then it was going to pick up again because for the carryout service. But I was out of here for that. Man, they sold so much money in carryout service.
They're selling money? Sign me up.
Well, sorry. They sold so much product doing carryout. Apparently, like for Memorial Day, they did a carryout service as well as like the normal off the menu carryout that they've been doing for several months. And I think they sold $25,000 worth of carryout for the Memorial Day package, and like another $6,000 or $7,000 worth of normal carryout. That's bigger than some days where we have like actual dining.
Yeah, so a lot of places have done that. Like, so even when we were initially out of the office, like we have an entire like kind of like hospitality team. So we have like a large area basically for our downtown campus as far as food and stuff like that. So they started doing like basically like pick up meals and shit like that. And yeah, they ended up as busy, if not more busy than they would have been on a normal day, just from people just stopping by and basically picking up food for their families.
Yeah, and we've always had a brisk carry-out business, but it's going to be a lot more. I mean, obviously, we're going to have the dining room open again, but we're going to have a shitload of carry-out orders, so that will be not fun at all. But it's okay. That part of my job doesn't bother me so much because it makes the day go by faster. But I am not a huge fan of multitasking, although apparently I'm really good at it. Because
you're not a fan of single tasking. Come on,
no,
Jay.
yeah. But apparently I'm good at it because, that's what my entire job is constantly being interrupted by in one thing that I'm doing by something else. I rarely get to finish anything from start to finish. So I have picked up a lot of techniques over the years to remind myself and to keep myself on track for what I'm supposed to be doing overall. And certain things are like little tips and tricks. Like whenever someone calls for a reservation, I grab the book and keep them on the phone while I look up the day and write that shit down. Because because if they give you the reservation, you go to write it down. Maybe you might use shorthand, and then like you get interrupted 3 or 4 times. You forget that you're supposed to write that reservation down. Now you go back to it. You have no clue what the fuck you just wrote. Or even worse, you go to write the reservation in, and there's a problem. There's an event that day that you forgot about, or all that kind of shit. So in addition to that, I constantly have people walking up to the window to asking me things. Managers telling me to page various people, members asking for this or that. So it's a lot of stuff going on at the same time kind of job, and I fucking hate it. I hate that feeling that I'm forgetting something. I'm pretty good at it. I don't make a lot of
rocket
mistakes.
Surgery there.
Rocket surgery.
Sounds like almost as difficult as you taking a shower.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the job suits me because people tell me I'm good at it, but I'm constantly in a state of perpetual panic that I'm going to fuck something up. Oh yes, I do fuck up. Team Evil Bad Guys asked me if I fuck up the members' names as well. Yes and no. Mostly no, because what happens is I'm afraid to use people's names. In addition to my inability to speak properly, I have a horrible memory for names. I'm like really, really, really bad. Combine that with the fact that the members will like meet you once and then like 8 months later expect you to remember who they were. It's something I've actually gotten in trouble for at work multiple times. My managers have told me that I need to use the members' names when I'm addressing them and that kind of thing, or like when they come in the morning. And I can't do it because not only do I not remember a lot of their names, a lot of these people have a similar look and similar names, and I've used the wrong name on people before, and that's way worse than not using their name. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but there's for one example, there's a ton of hot brunette Jewish women there, and they all have a similar look. They're similarly hot, but so it's easy to make mistakes. So I just use sir and ma'am as much as I can. And they're like, why don't you greet people when they come in? I know you know some of those people's names. I'm like, well, here's why. Let's say Mr. So-and-so comes in, and I know Mr. So-and-so. So he walks in, oh, good morning, Mr. So-and-so. And half a step behind him is a member whose name I don't know. So it's, hi, Mr. So-and-so. Oh, hello, sir. That doesn't sound right. So I just, if I said hello, sir, to both of them, then obviously everything is copacetic.
Yeah, this is why I just refer to everyone as fella.
Well, yeah. Okay. Do you have problems with remembering people's names?
No, actually, I'm generally pretty good at it.
And people like, you just don't care enough. I'm like, I've been working there 15 years and I've gotten in trouble for this multiple times. I assure you, I care about this. Some people are not good at things. Some people are good at math. Some people aren't good at math. Some people are good at English. Some people like me are not so good. So everyone has things they're good at and they're not good at. I'm not good at remembering people's names.
Well, here's
I'm
the
good at
problem,
remembering
Jay, is like people are going to remember your name more than they would other people because you are fucking Lurch. So like they're not going to forget the guy with the 3.5 foot tall skull is Jay. Like I run into the same thing. Like this is why I have to be good with names. Is because walking around in a corporate environment, like the 6'1", anywhere between like 280 to 300 pound Neanderthal, like everyone's gonna remember his name because he looks out of place anyway. So as to not look like the asshole that can't remember anybody's names, I have to be good with fucking names because they're all gonna remember mine.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it is. And it's amplified there because I'm the front desk position. I'm the first person they see when they walk in. Everybody knows Jay. But I do have tricks for it. Like if I don't know their member name, like they'll come up and they'll go, oh, so, I need a reservation for 4 at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. What I'll do, okay, what was your member number again? I know everyone's fucking member number. I'm good at numbers. So they'll say, oh, it's 452. And I'm like, okay, I know. So okay, oh, sorry about that. I forget sometimes. So like, oh, it's no big deal. You shouldn't have to remember my member number. And they'll walk away. And then I'll go look up their member number and go, oh, that's who the fuck that is. Because I remember
Jay, you may not be. You may not want to be referring to old Jewish people as numbers.
Shit. But the conversely holds true. If I remember their name, I fucking know their number. So between those two facts, I get by them most of the time, and that's why they're really impressed. So Mr. So and So goes, oh, I need a reservation for 4 at so and so. So I'm like, okay, it's Mr. So and so and so and so. Member number so and so. Say it out loud while I'm writing it. They're, oh, you know my member number? I'm like, I know most of the member number, most of the more prominent members' member numbers, sir.
All right, Nazi Jay.
So I get by between the two of that. So, but it is a difficult job sometimes, and it's stressful. But that's why I get paid more than minimum wage. My actual job, a retarded monkey can do. I'm answering phones and writing things down and transferring phone calls. Who the fuck can't do that? I have to. I got my job, and I keep my job with my customer service skills and my ability to not fuck things up. At least. Which I fucked up 3 things today in a row, man. It's I knew I was back to work. Okay, that's enough of that, little dog. The pool reservations. I can almost say it's not my fault, but it probably is. I sat down, turned on the phones, and like sometime between 2 and 3 hours later. Okay, hey, that's enough. You guys get out of here. Go on, both of you. Go on. Go be assholes someplace else. So I turn on the phones and, I start getting phone calls. I'm taking reservations. And about an hour later, I notice there's an email in my account. I open it up and it's the procedures and rules for like taking the reservations for the pool and the dining room. And as soon as I read those over, I realize I just fucked a whole bunch of shit up. Like, because the pool reservations say you can't take any reservations more than 3 days in advance. And all the reservations I just took were like 5 and 7 days out. I'm like, oh, well, that's not good. And then I do some further reading and find out that I took a reservation for a party of 12, but we're only taking parties of 10 or smaller now, even though our tables will fit 12. I don't know why. Something with COVID, I imagine. I'm like, dude, I've been here like 2 hours and I already fucked 3 things up. Man, this isn't a good start to the season at all.
Right, yeah. So we are officially the Secretary 101 podcast. If anybody wants to dial in and get the down low of how to organize a Rolodex, we want your call.
I'm sorry, as I mentioned, I got in late, so this is 2 days in a row. I don't have shit for topics. I don't know. We can find some bullshit.
God damn, Jay. So did you hear Alexander Gustafsson is ending his retirement?
Oh, I wasn't aware that he fucking retired.
God damn it, Jay. Get with these things.
You know what? Now that you mentioned, I think I probably heard something about that. God, that guy's had a weird career, didn't he? He looked like a fucking world beater for a short period of time, and then it all fucking fell apart. If there's ever any credence to having the skill beat the fuck out of you, that was a good case of it, huh?
I don't necessarily know about that take, Jay.
Well, after the Jones fight, who did he beat?
After the initial John Jones fight, he beat Jimmy Manawa, and then he lost to Anthony Johnson and Daniel Cormier.
Okay, that's not
really those aren't bad losses.
No,
and then he
that's
came
true.
back and he beat the shit out of Jan Blankovic and Glover Teixeira.
Okay.
Only to lose to John Jones and then Anthony Smith, who was a kind of a world beater at that point. Like, it's not like he fell off.
I don't know. I just always got the impression I expected way more from him. And when you name off the opponents, it's not like he was fighting, like scrubs or anything. I don't know. I just, I guess it's because I firmly thought that he won the first Jones fight, that I expected like for him to eventually be the champ again.
Well, yeah, he was on that trajectory. Obviously, he did. I think we all thought he beat John Jones that first time, which seems to be kind of a recurring theme with John Jones fights. But yes, he's coming back to the heavyweight division to face Fabricio Verdum. So it's kind of a good warm-up fight if Verdum looks as bad as he did in his last fight.
Right. Oh, that's who he's fighting?
Yes, that will be his comeback fight.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. If we hadn't just watched that fight where he looked like shit, I would have said that's not really that's more of a tune-up fight than anything else. But yeah, that's excuse me, I got that backwards. I would have thought that would have been a pretty good challenge for him. But now it seems more like a tune-up fight than anything else.
Yeah, we just have to see what Verdum looks like. Because, I mean, obviously he has all the talent in the world, but did he finally get old? And obviously he's not on the horse meat now.
Right. Although he's one of those few people that didn't look that great when he was on it.
Well,
I mean, skill-wise, he looked great, but yeah, but he's one of those people that he doesn't get the awesome muscle look from being on the horse meat.
Which not everybody does. It depends on what you're using it for. If you really just are using it to be able to recover more and just train more, like you're fine. True. If you're using it to lift a bunch of weight, then yeah, you're gonna end up looking like TRT Vitor.
Yeah. That's but Josh Barnett's a good example of that. He's been popped a whole bunch of times. And he's always looked like the doughboy.
Yeah, he's just not that body type to be like ultra muscular. But going back to the chat here, specifically to Sly Dog, if you're trying to figure out which you dislike more, going to the dentist or paying $1,100, what you could actually do, and this is an interesting way to figure this out, is you go ahead and you give me $1,200. And if that pisses you off worse than going to the dentist, hey, you have your answer. Just trying to help. Being a bro.
Yeah, you're being a bro. I appreciate that. Being a bro. Bros being bros to bros. That reminds me of a Rick and Morty quote. I think I had this conversation before. You don't watch Rick and Morty, do you?
So I haven't seen like the new season or whatever. I saw what was it, like the first 2 or whatever they were.
Yeah, first 2, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, they're funny. Again, it's just one of those things I'm not going to sit down and watch shows as they're running. So whenever, this season or run is over, I'll probably go back and just watch the entire thing again. But yeah, it's funny.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been able to watch this first season because before all the other seasons were on Hulu, but apparently this season they wanted to promote Hulu Live. so you can't get it on regular Hulu. You have to have it Hulu Live. I've watched the first half of this season because eventually they just released it on Adult Swim's own website. But anything from the second half of the season, I haven't seen at all. It's a great show. I was really surprised because, as I think I mentioned before, some of their fan base is kind of weird. But the show is really really good, and I've been I laugh at it all the times, but it's made me almost cry a couple times. There's been some sad ass parts in that show. They get pretty deep on some stuff.
You estrogen filled son of a bitch.
Oh, if you didn't get at least a little bit sad when Rick at the end of the episode where his girlfriend, who happens to be like an entire population, dumps him, and he went home and built a suicide machine and passed out before he got a chance to use it. If that doesn't make you feel a little bit sad, there's something wrong with you.
No, it
Unity,
really didn't.
No, oh, I guess I am filled with estrogen because that sort of shit makes me sad. And I'm surprised by how often Rick and Morty has that actually in it. There's a heart to that show.
Not really. It's just the fact that like that character is an alcoholic, like lonely old motherfucker. It just happens to be hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny. I saw a meme about that. They're listing a whole bunch of people that people idolize that you really shouldn't idolize, and Rick was one of them. It's because basically he's a kind of a horrible person for the most part.
Well, yeah, like that's the show.
Yeah. Oh shit. So let's see what else we got today. Going over to Facebook and making fun of people always works. Let's see if there's anybody posting something stupid over on Facebook. It shouldn't take too long. So much virtual signaling. So much virtue signaling. Oh, someone actually has signs up on my street. Sorry, I know. I don't know what the hell that was. Virtue signaling. Thank you. Someone actually has signs up on my street. One of them says how long the guy had the knee in his neck, like 8 minutes and 53 seconds. That's what it says. One of them says Black Lives Matter, and one of them says something else. I can't remember what it was. But this is kind of humorous to me because we live on a dead end street with about maybe 20 houses on it. As far as I know, there are no black people on my street. I'm not quite sure who these signs are for. But if it makes them feel better about themselves, I guess that's okay.
Yeah. Again, why I could not do Facebook more than like once a week, if that.
Well, that was my actual street. While I was going through Facebook, I just saw all these different posts, about virtue signaling, and then it reminded me that someone's doing it in real life on my street. I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, I'm not sure how much driving around you're doing and that sort of thing, but have you seen like signs on people's yards and shit?
Not really. Like, I don't really live in a town like that. But
right.
Back to just even the Facebook thing, just like if I have to hear one more person bitching about all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter, like I want to take away what they think matters by throwing them off a fucking bridge.
And it's sad because I understand I have good people I'm friends with that are really into the all lives matter, and I understand where they're coming from. They're they're just misguided. They're not bad people, most of them. A lot of them just don't understand
and the problem is a lot of the same people that do the all lives matter thing are the people that were posting about blue lives matter.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's Black Lives Matter, no, it's all lives matter. But if it's blue lives matter, that's okay. So all is okay, blue is okay, black is bad. Am I following math?
That's I hadn't really thought about that. That's an excellent point. You can't say blue lives matter and then say black lives. You can't and then say black lives don't matter. That's not what they say. They're like all lives matter. Yeah, that's an excellent point. I hadn't thought about that at all. And I'm not sure if there's any overlap on my Facebook friends. I haven't paid attention to that sort of thing.
But it's the same thing. It's the same people that just fucking want to stir shit up, that want the attention. Like I made this point. Like, how many people are Christians? And like if Jesus was sitting here right now and was talking about blessed are the poor, Are you going to interrupt and be like, hey, nah, bro, nah, son of God, all people are blessed, bro?
Yeah, that reminds me of one of my pet peeves, and it's a petty pet peeve, and I feel embarrassed to talk about it. But I'm not a big fan of when you ask someone how they're doing, they say, "Oh, I'm blessed." Oh, well, that kind of implies I'm not, then, doesn't it? And I know that's fucking silly, but that's kind of always the read I got off of it.
I don't know. Just people are fucking idiots. Like we are getting way too close to idiocracy.
And I hate to agree with you on that, but I see so much stupid shit, and I feel dumb. Okay, let me point out right off the bat, I'm not a smart person. I know that. And so I feel kind of hypocritical when I point out, how stupid I think people are. I realize I'm not smart. I've proved it enough times to myself to realize that there's really no doubt in the matter. But I don't think that precludes me from pointing out other people's stupid shit too. But like I said, I always feel a little bit hypocritical when I do it. So I always appreciate when I point out stupidity and you back me up.
There are levels. Like there are people that think they're intelligent, and a lot of times they're correct. They're the people that think they're intelligent when they're really fucking morons. Like there's also that population. There are people like you that just accept that they're not that intelligent, but at least they're probably still smarter than half the people they meet. And then there's just the stupid people that don't realize that they can't count a potato.
That was one of my favorite jokes, is like, man, I must not be nearly as smart as I thought I was, because looking around at the competition, I should be doing way better than I am.
Well, like, I fully admit it. Like, a lot of people will interact with me and think I'm a pretty smart person. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not that smart. Like, and I'm not a huge fan of Joe Rogan's stand-up, but like he summed it up really well on one of his earlier CDs before he got all, Joe Rogan experience, Joe Rogan. But he was talking about the fact that like most of us are pretty goddamn stupid. We've just memorized things that smart people have said. Like if you throw any of us out there in the goddamn wilderness for, however long, like, how long is it going to take us to be able to email you? Like, I don't know how a camera fucking works. I just know that I can pull up my phone and hit a button and an image appears. It could be fucking magical dwarves in there doing the fucking work. I don't know how that shit appears on the screen, but goddamn, I'll pull it up and be like, it's a cool picture of my dog.
I think I remember seeing that special, and one of the things he was talking about, I believe, was the people that didn't believe that we were evolved from monkeys. No, dude, not me, dude. I'm, God made me, man. I wasn't from monkeys, and which is silly right off the basis, because God made the monkey. If you go in the religion direction, so you're saying the devil made monkeys? But he was pointing out the fact that he doesn't know, he can't tell you whether that's true, but he's read a whole bunch of books by people that have done a whole bunch of research, and they say we're from monkeys, so it's probably true. But there's a lot of those arguments that you hear are not based on fucking facts. And
Greg, you're right. We definitely do need that. Like, my lawn is a little long right now. I could absolutely use Jesus tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, maybe I'll call my friend Serena DeJesus to help you.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
No one fucks with the Jesus. But yeah, in a lot of cases, and I hate people that argue like that. My second least favorite thing to argue with people are ones that I guess you want to call them conspiracy theorists. I had it just today. I'm walking through the kitchen, saying hi to people. Hey, what's going on, dude? And I run into conspiracy theory guy. And I was like, oh wow, man, crazy world we're living in. He goes, oh, it's not that crazy. I'm like, I don't know, it seems kind of crazy. As I'm walking by him, he goes, well, yeah, that's because all the false flags. And I just kept right on fucking walking. I'm like, nope, I'm not getting in that conversation. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. That was the comment. He said, yeah, nope, not really, because all the false flags. It's why you think it like that.
Well, see here, like here's the thing, like,
And
so
don't get me wrong.
I do. I love a good conspiracy theory. I just don't respect anyone that actually believes them. Like, but people that come up with this shit, like, God damn, that is a good story. Like, you should be writing a TV show. But if you actually believe that shit,
Right,
you
right.
should
It depends what
probably
you
walk as fast as you can into oncoming traffic.
Right. And it really depends on what conspiracy theory you believe in. Ron Funches did a great joke about it. I think I've told it on the podcast before. He goes, "What?" He goes, "What? I don't like people that don't like conspiracy theories." It's like, how can you not believe in any of them? Okay, I can see not believing in all conspiracy theories, but not any. You don't believe in Russia? That's a real place. So he goes on stuff like that, and he points out that some conspiracy theories are true. He said he made a joke, used to make a joke about how Apple will slow down your phone whenever a new phone's coming out to make you buy it, and it turns out that's actually true. Apple announced it, but he was making a joke beforehand. So he said when he saw that, he's like, "Oh, I did it! I made him fess up." Yeah. So he obviously he tells the joke better than I do, but he is right. There are conspiracy theories out there that are true, and some of them are reasonable. But the joke that he told about the actual conspiracy theories is like, how can you not believe in any conspiracy theories? The way I look at it like this: the government is in charge of a whole bunch of people. I'm just in charge of one 10-year-old child, and I lie to him all the time.
Well, that's the thing.
No?
Yeah. So, like, if you think of conspiracy theories, yes, there are absolutely ones that make sense, that are fine.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, as with anything else, like, people just go way too fucking far.
Right, exactly. I do
Like,
not believe
you
that
talk
that
about-
the government is. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you talk about something like JFK assassination, and you think there's more than one person involved. Yeah, I can get behind that one. It's like all the facts, like, if you look at it, it doesn't add up like the official story.
Right.
Now,
right,
if you think
But
that fucking, that the SpaceX launch was fake, like you're a long ways further. Or if you believe in the whole like QAnon thing, like you've gone a little too far. Like you might want to talk to somebody about reality and how you perceive it.
Right, exactly. Like some conspiracies are entirely true and make sense. Other ones are just like I firmly believe that there's probably a base on in Roswell. They might not have alien technology, but they have technology that they don't want the general public to see, which is probably where all the alien theories came from. On the other hand, I don't believe that the U.S. government's flying around planes and dumping chemicals through contrails. And I have someone at work that firmly believes that those clouds you see are chemical contrails used to control the population. And even though it's been proved multiple times over, it's just a natural effect of the jets flying in certain altitudes of certain moistures and things like that. But you can't tell him that, and other people at work make fun of him for it, and he steadfastly says, no, you guys are wrong. Fucking, I know what I know. And once you're talking to somebody that will not accept evidence and reverts to, oh, dude, I know what I know. Well, how can you have a conversation with that person?
Yeah, and a lot of times it goes back to the standard like religion argument of like if someone is steadfast in believing something that's stupid, and I'm not going to call all religion stupid. That's not what I'm fucking saying. But it's the argument of you present evidence to these people, and their argument is like, well, you can't prove that what I say does not exist. Like you can't prove you can't prove a negative. So when it comes to religion, they say like, well, you can't prove there isn't a God. But it's not up to me to prove there is one. You just have to accept that I'm right.
Right, exactly.
Like that's not, you can't have a discourse there. Like if I'm arguing with you about contrails, like I can go to you and say, okay, well, prove that contrails are what you say they are. Well, they will say, well, no, you have to prove that they're not. Like that's not how an argument works.
Right, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I've had completely reasonable conversations about religion. being an agnostic myself, and although I'll be honest with you, lately I've been leaning a little bit more toward thinking there might be something out there, to the point where I occasionally say thank you just in case. But I've had but way back when I was, agnostic and almost atheist, I had entirely reasonable conversations with religious people, and they had perfectly valid reasons. No, they couldn't use facts in any of it, but but they gave reasonable explanations for why they believed anyways. But that's, to me, kind of a rarity. Most of them are just like, nope, I believe, and you're probably dumb for not believing. So,
Yeah, and where I kind of draw the line, and this will go to the chat, and like, I agree with Sly. Like, Christianity has given a lot of good things to the world. Like, it is a pretty good playbook for the most part. There's some silly things in there, but how to, like, treat each other well and not be a dick. Like, it's a good philosophy. But when you start to believe everything in those books as being, like, unquestionable reality, that's where we start going down a different path.
Right. And see, I'm in the spot where it's hard for me to put my faith in it, but you know what? I hope it's all real. I hope there is a heaven and there's a God out there judging people and rewarding good people and sending the bad people to hell. I really hope there is. That's the ideal situation, and that, you're rewarded for being a good person and all that good stuff. I don't know that to be true, and it's hard for me to accept it as a fact with no proof at all. But what I've decided to do a long time ago is just suspend my disbelief. I don't know what's true and what's not. They could have it 100% right. On the other hand, there's a guy in Kentucky, who believes that chickens are our true gods and we should all worship them. He might have it right. I kind of doubt it, but we might go to heaven and find out it's run by fucking chickens. And then where are we at? All of our human ways got us nowhere. But we don't know. It could be any of that. So I refuse to judge people that are religious too harshly, because they might be right. And in certain ways, I'm envious of them. Religion is a great comfort to people. I've seen it to be so. I've seen people go through horrific things and cling to their religion as the only thing that they had left. And I wish I believed in something like that. Had that type of faith to uphold me, so to speak. But I just don't have it in me. The best I can do is suspend disbelief.
Well, this is where I'll leave it. Is I will never tell you that your religion is wrong unless you're the person to tell me that me not following your religion is wrong.
There you go. Yep. Oh, wow. We got all serious here at the end of the show. That wasn't my intention, but at least it filled the end. It looks like it's time to go, guys. I want to thank the OG Army for showing up. You guys are the show. I can't do it without you. Oh, wait a minute. We got a surprise phone call at the end. Okay, well, why not? We'll give it a couple more minutes. I would like to welcome, apparently, Bubbles. How you doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
I don't know. How is it going?
I just want to call in and tell you to take a big hydraulic suck on my bird.
What kind of bird?
You fucking faggot.
Oh, see, now you're just going to be mean. See, the problem was it wasn't that inventive. If he would have had something more salacious to say, it might have been funny. That's all right, though. Okay, so we're going to end the show. I want to once again thank the OG Army in the chat box. We couldn't do it without you. I want to thank my co-host, Ryan. I also couldn't do it without you. Shit, Ryan, you got anything?
I've got two things, as I virtually always do. Number one, I just want to apologize to the OG Army on behalf of Jay for completely abandoning you tomorrow night and no longer doing fight companions after being on board to do so. Apparently, he just does not care as much about you as you care about us. And I understand that frustration. Group hug in the shower tonight. Secondly,
what else you got?
Fuck all y'all.
I hope everybody has a great night. We'll see everyone tomorrow at 6.
Screw you, hippie!